Do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.
We're the authors of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. Everybody can get that at jolleymarriage.com. They can see the TED Talk at jolleymarriage.com. The topic is one that we give you the option to send us your letters, your emails, your information, and we'll try and address it. The topic is caught in the middle. Torn between my spouse and my children. The husband was divorced, had 2 daughters. He brought to the new marriage. They were, by the time he got married, in college. By the time they finished college, he and the new wife had a new child, and he continued to pay the phone bills for his daughters. Once they got employed, the wife said it's time for them to become self-sufficient and start paying their own bills. He said, they are paying me monthly what they owe on the phone bill toward the phone bill. All right, but one of them got behind, which created all sorts of more problems.
The real issue is, in my humble opinion, if you're honest, there's some insecurity of, okay,
yes,
you care more about them than you do about me.
Can you hear now? Is that everybody can hear?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Right.
You care more about them than the daughters from the previous marriage, which is a whole nother thing with insecurities and the like. And okay, now I'm divorced. How do I show my kids that I really love them, even though I'm not married to their mother? I mean, it becomes really very involved, and it's a very emotional thing.
Yes.
And then, okay, and I'm the product of a blended family also.
We are.
We are the product. We had one. And Willie
I had one who I brought to our wedding, and then we had another.
Right.
Okay.
And it was great before we got married, because we really got along before we got married.
Yes.
I would keep it for the summer, all that kind of stuff. And then we went out for lunch and came back married, which was a shock
to everybody. And we eloped. Nobody expected it. She didn't know. She didn't expect it.
I didn't expect it. But just that happening changed the dynamic of the relationship. And there's so many things going on because you don't know who's talking to who. You don't know who has her ear that makes her feel insecure in her relationship with her husband. What is it really a big deal that the daughter or daughters are on the phone plan and they're paying the money to the dad? Is that really a big deal, or is that a symptom of something else, like feelings of insecurity? That's what I see. So how do you resolve that? You got to talk about it.
Got to talk about it.
And what does
that mean? It has to be some open and honest conversation.
Perhaps that requires going to counseling. And we did that years before we knew anything about this, something called BetterHelp, before it became popular to talk about relationship issues.
Right.
And it was somebody close by from Georgia Avenue.
It was down on Georgia Avenue. It was at a family counseling.
So we went to family. It's much more sophisticated now, but just to listen when the counselor asked questions. You learn so much by just asking questions and shutting up. And when I heard my stepdaughter refer to me as her or she, as opposed to my name. And you say, well, why do you just call her she or her? Where did this indifference come from? And then later on, we found out that it was a learned thing. Her family then said, you can't like or love her and love us too. That's a very divisive and sad situation.
It was difficult for a child to be told, you can't, now that he's married this woman, then you can't really have a relationship that's positive, because that's not your
mother.
Right.
And you don't have to do what she says. And you can't like her anyway. What a horrible, and I think it's a lack of, it's a lack of sophistication, and it also speaks to all kinds of insecurities. It has to deal with, well, where did they come from? What were the nature of their relationships? And that's a level of sophistication that I think most of us simply never get to because we're shallow. The 2-second clickbait catches your attention. Your brains turn to popcorn, and then you look for something else to get that excitement, something else to get that excitement. You know, the algorithms are not designed to get you to think.
Well, the algorithms there was a big piece on television the other day. The algorithms are created to create more drama and divisiveness and disruption, dissension. That's what it
means, spiritedness, and now the climate is perfect for that.
Right.
So the more that you can feel insecure, something is amiss, that somebody is putting you down, that you're not loved the way you think you should.
Let's talk about how we got through that. We went to counseling. We went to family counseling.
We did.
And we went from her, Dee being called her or she, to really find out what was the deeper issue. And then she could get to calling her Dee or Grand Dee. And
I had to, as the adult, I had to decide that I was going to be nice to her even if she wasn't nice to me.
That's a big point, folks.
That
huge
really,
point.
That's everything. And when I say that, they were in two different school systems. They were in two different private schools on different sides of town, and I would drive each to their respective schools. And for a while, she did not speak to me. So get dressed, uniform, out the door, 2 kids, and I would drop William off first.
You drop William off first,
and then Latoya last, and she would not speak to me. So, you know, I really had a choice. But I also talked to one of the wisest people I knew, my mom, who said, would you want to be married to somebody who didn't want to do everything they could to save their child?
Wow.
So what was I going to do with that?
Mom to the rescue.
Was my answer, no, I don't want to, because this is uncomfortable. Yes, it was uncomfortable. But I figured out that, you know what? If I put my son's face on her and decide if something happened to me, if I were dead, and Willie would marry again, okay, charming man about town. And back then, this is before he started speaking. You were singing for yourself.
I was singing then.
So he was singing nightclubs, you know, smoke filled, and women throwing their drawers sometimes up on, you know, all this kind of stuff going on. Oh, Willie, okay. I said, oh, he would get married again. How would I want that woman to treat my child? So I took care of it. So it's kind of like water rolling off my back.
But let me tell you what it's like for the man, for the husband. I feel for him because you got two opposites of two people you love both of them, and you don't want to make a choice between either one. You want to find a happy medium that works, but it's not working, and it's drama, and it's terrible, and it's draining, and it's tough. So I went to my mama. Just like she went to her mama, I went to my mama. Now, my mama had never been married before. She had 2 children by her husband. So she didn't have this experience to give me a experiential perspective. But she gave me how to deal with situations in your life that you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. She said, this is where you need to pray. You need to pray for wisdom. Pray for wisdom. And that's exactly what I did. And God gave me wisdom on this situation, how to get through it with not offending either side, being fair and being open and being communicative and developing a relationship. And it worked. Not just my part, but Dee part saying, I'm not gonna respond in kind. I'm gonna love this child, even though she doesn't love me. And in time, it's all good. She loves Dee as her mother. She got pictures.
She got two moms.
Yeah, she got take pictures of my two moms, and when she comes to visit, it's all good, and she's respectful and loving and caring, and so it's all good because.
That
so
really
I understand
is the choice.
So what we are saying to, hopefully you can share with your spouse or this wife or husband, if this whoever side, look, you must not respond in kind, one, to your child who is a child or a young adult. Second, you must be willing to talk, even if they're not willing to talk to you. And third, and love them even if they're not willing.
So one major takeaway in this particular situation is for the husband and wife to get on the same page.
Right.
To come to an agreement. So the fact that, okay, the situation, I don't want them on the plan, well, you got to agree as to what that approach is going to be. Right? So what's the goal? Why don't you want them on the plan? Because they're grown. Well, do you have a problem with the fact that they're paying? Is that the real issue? To get at what the issue is.
Get at the real bottom line.
Which requires the gentle questioning, the asking of questions, and then come to some kind of agreement. Maybe there's, what is wrong with the couple's agreement? We will agree that what?
Or maybe put it on a time limit, that whatever it is. Okay, baby is new to her job. Here, baby, we're gonna help you for X amount of months. But then at that point, you must become self-sufficient.
But so the husband and wife
have to be on the same page. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Then go to the children.
I agree.
I can think about when my mom and dad, I never heard my mom and dad argue. Now, my bedroom was across from them. They had lots of ongoing conversations that I couldn't quite make out what they were saying at night, but they always had a united front.
Right. So we hope
to talk this through.
Talk it through. You should seek counseling. That's a good thing. Family counseling, we highly recommend. We do get questions. So many people say, do you guys do counseling? Not really. We do mentorship sessions.
Which means?
That we will give you our best coaching on how to get through this situation.
Based upon our own experiences.
And
that also is part of the emotional thing, because this really is an emotional situation.
Correct.
That is why I'm saying the husband and wife, the couple, have to agree. You before you even say, okay, now this is what we're going to do. Instead of, well, I want him off the plan. Have to look at, okay, he's trying to placate.
He's trying to keep relationship with the daughters.
Right. And I understand that.
And there's some tension there.
Yes.
And he don't want to just cut them off.
No, because you don't know what.
And if you're wise, you don't know what the unintended consequences are. Right.
You want to leave the lines of communication open.
Yep.
And you don't want any kind of, you don't know the negative communication that might be coming from the former wife's side and what she might be saying to the girl. So he doesn't care about you anyway. You don't know. I'm just saying you don't know that. So you want to keep the lines of communication open. So first, with the most recent wife, the last wife, to come up with an agreement as to how you're going to approach.
So here's what somebody said. Let me see who said this. Constantivo. To me, it doesn't sound like there's an issue between the daughters and between his daughter and the mom. His new wife is creating the issue because she feels uncomfortable. Therefore, the source is her. Correct. Now, but even though the source is her, how do you fix it? So she might have some insecurity. She might have some concerns. So how do you fix that situation, and you can't ignore it. So what do we recommend?
And is that a question? How do you make her feel secure? How can you make somebody else feel secure? That's a whole nother issue.
Right. How do you make somebody else feel secure? The answer is that you must have, that the husband must be prayerful, be positive, and be proactive. Okay? Be prayerful, be positive, be proactive.
Well, you have to know what, but you also need, prayerful, positive, proactive. You need to know what her needs are. What is this core thing that is making her feel insecure? Does it come out of how she grew up, how she viewed relationships? I mean, it is more than just, okay, now I'm married and everything is hunky-dory. People bring baggage.
Yep.
And the more I read, the more I am aware of, oh my God, I just kind of stumbled into this relationship that is working out. But if we are not reading and ongoing, looking for ways to anticipate and to give positive feedback and love and attention to our mates, there are going to be problems.
There's going to be all sorts of problems.
There are going to be issues.
Prayerful, positive, and then you got to be proactive. I want to say that again. By proactive means there's obviously a problem here. And so what do? You got to be proactive to say, let's talk about it.
Right. Let's
talk about it, and let's figure out a solution so that we can live peacefully.
Right.
And that's it. So here's my recommendation, because I've been there. I know it's tough for the spouse who's suffering through it, but understand that you've got to be prayerful. Why you have to be prayerful? Because you're going to take wisdom here. It's going to take wisdom, and wisdom is you don't overreact. You don't make an emotional call.
But how do you also develop?
And Wendell, good to see you, my man. It's Wendell. Now I know who it is. Good. All right.
So being prayerful, you say that, but you have a seminary degree, so you
can
read
pray.
the Bible. But I'm just saying.
Oh no, being prayerful means I because I have a degree in theology does not mean that somebody can't pray. You can pray with no degree. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm just saying. Maybe it's because I'm such an avid reader. You learn more by reading the Bible, certain passages, by reading other books to give you insight.
But I don't say you got to be a Bible scholar to know how to pray.
No.
You get on your knees and you say, God, help me. Ask for help. God, help me through this. This is tough. This is difficult. That's what I did. And I asked God for wisdom. And he said, he gave me how to not overreact, how to not be negative, but not be emotional. Stay positive. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Well, I know you got something else.
And to give and to have patience. Okay. So one of the things that I'm avid about is also looking for other resources, because just listening to like 20 some minutes of us espousing this particular situation is really not enough. It is ongoing. What am I learning? How do I get better at this? Okay. So I went to my best friend now, ChatGPT, ChatGPT, and I'm learning how to ask prompts. I'm learning how to learning how to use prompts. That means to ask very specific questions, not general. So what might be a couple of things that someone with this particular situation benefit from? And so here's one book that I thought could be very helpful. It's Surviving and Thriving in Step Family Relationships. That was the first one that came up as like, this is considered the gold standard. Surviving and Thriving in Step Parent Relationships. And this, I never heard of her, Patricia Paper now. And it's considered the gold standard because it's research-based guide to insider, outsider. So insider is the birth parent. And the outsider is the step parent, the one who's coming in. So you would be the insider.
Okay.
Okay. And I would be the outsider. And so it's research-based guide to the insider-outsider dynamics that drives conflict.
Mm.
And then once you understand that, then you can figure out how to resolve it. And it even gets to what language, what wording can you use to be caring and thoughtful.
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, in the society today, the words that people use it vitriolic. That's
and sometimes the word I told him last week. There's this podcast about being brutally honest.
That's an excuse to be mean.
Yeah, I got to be brutally honest. I think that's a poor strategy for getting ahead, being brutally honest, because it creates enemies that are not necessary. As my friend Bill Cates says, don't create unnecessary wars. Only fight honorable battles. That's good. You hear that one? Don't create unnecessary wars. Only fight honorable battles.
So sometimes you have to just be quiet.
Let's see. Wendell said, there is a book to be loved by Humble, the poet, I think. It teaches you how to be loving how to be loving so you can be loved.
Oh, that's good. Put that in
the chat.
Somebody might, I hadn't heard of that. What is it again?
It's called To Be Loved. To be loved with an extra
be
LOVE and apostrophe and parenthesis. The D is in parenthesis. To be loved and the D is in parenthesis. Thank you for that, Wendell. All right.
And who's it by?
It's by Humble the Poet.
Oh.
All right. So our time is we had a little audio problem, but our time is just about up. Mary, can you hear okay now? Making sure. Gladys, are you on? Are you hearing okay? Greg, is it okay? Can you hear? Please put it in the chat.
Gladys and Ron will be on. They're going to be our guests in 2 weeks.
Yes. All right.
Caregiving. Very, very. Oh my God.
We're going to have a great guest this month. Once a month we try and do a couple or an expert beyond just us.
Right.
So we got the Pembertons.
And insights. Yes.
They're coming on.
Yes.
And you're going to be really encouraged and blessed by them. Okay. Some have asked about when we're going to have our seminar. We don't have a date yet, but we are planning that for 2026. New book. I want to thank Pastor Jamal Bryant yesterday he got a copy of my new book, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. And okay, Gladys is listening. You heard okay. He got a copy of my new book, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better, and did a whole sermon on one of the major points in the book about the power of giving, getting, and being. And it's actually giving, getting, doing, and being. He said, I'm going to just focus on these three. Giving goal, getting goal, and a being goal. What must you become? And so if you watched New Birth Baptist Church yesterday's sermon, you will hear a tremendous message. Right about at 58 minutes, he starts preaching, and he mentions me at about 1 hour and 7 minutes in my book. And he encourages everybody in the congregation to go get one. And we've had a huge number of book sales today. So go to richisgoodwealthyisbetter.com, richisgoodwealthyisbetter.com to get your pre-release first edition collector's version. Because once these are gone, you'll just get the normal version, and there'll be hopefully millions of the normal version, but there are a small number of these pre-release. Okay, Miss D, anything in you usually have something to say about what's October or anything?
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Okay.
So you should be on whatever your exam schedule is, your annual. And if you are over If you're in the over 65, the Medicare group, you might have to pay for a separate because they're like up over the hill. Well, it's every other year. If you want it every year, you got to pay.
I would pay.
Interesting. Yeah.
I would pay if I were you. This is something that must be, you must take it seriously. Okay. That's it for tonight.
Okay.
Thank
you for joining
We've
us.
been babysitting.
Oh yes.
We've been babysitting. We have had a great day with our grandson. I knew your little grandson who was a year old last week.
So he's a year and 3 days old.
Yes, and he is full of life.
Everywhere in everything.
That's right. So look, folks, thank you. Okay.
And I'm hobbling around because I have a sprained ankle.
She's been on crutches. She's been on crutches.
So Saturday was interesting. I was going into a little simple retail store, a dollar store, and I stepped on an uneven pavement and caught myself. I didn't fall, but it ended up, I thought, this is a little twinge. In between 12 noon and 3 o'clock, it became throbbing, and I could not even put any pressure. I
couldn't stand on it.
Oh my goodness.
She calls me and says, come home.
And he's nowhere to be found.
I'm 2 hours away at an all-day event. And I said, I can't. So thank God I called my son. He came, took her to urgent care.
They were wonderful.
Got x-rays.
Patient first.
We're giving him a shout out. Mm-hmm. And she got x-rays. It wasn't broken. That was my concern when you called and said you couldn't. Yes. It was throbbing and swelling. I said, I hope it's not broken.
Right.
So thank God it's not, but she's been on crutches.
Mm-hmm. I've been hobbling around quite easy. They're like, I can't believe you can lift yourself up. I said, oh, yoga. So I'm like,
by the way, I did yoga tonight. See y'all later. God bless you. Have a great week on purpose, and blessings to you. We're going out with Close to You for my jazz album. You can see that at williejolly.com/jazz. williejolly.com/jazz. God bless.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.